Welcome back, everybody. So, I opened maybe 50 Unknown Box Season 17 crates in Last Day on Earth. And, well, this is the results of roughly what I got. As always, if you haven't already, consider subscribing, join my Discord, follow my Twitter, you know the drill. Let's get into this box opening. Now, I thought about doing this box opening, like, live, in the moment commentary, but I feel like that would get very boring very fast. Especially, like, say, the 18th one or something like that. You're gonna get kind of tired of me going, oh, what's it gonna be, what's it gonna be, and it's carbon fiber. Okay, next. What's it gonna be, what's it gonna be? I feel like that would get old very fast. I mean, especially after the 20th, maybe, you would get pretty bored. I also thought about it doing music style. Let's pull a little bit of what that would look like. Yeah, that's right. I'm actually getting really incredibly bored editing this. I mean, yeah, it's... No. Anywho, I figured we'll do this commentary-ish styled, so I'm just gonna commentate over something that's randomly just feels like commentating over, and you can enjoy the nice Unknown Box opening in the background. So that's what I'm gonna do, alright? Well, overall, really quick, with the Unknown Box, I feel like yesterday, 2 days ago technically when you're watching this video, but one day when I'm recording it, I feel like rare items weren't necessarily considered rare items. Everything had an equal chance. Well, I mean, I got a lot of common items, but I was getting a lot of uncommon and a lot of rares, especially. However, the quality of those, yeah, I feel like that's definitely a particular factor. So, you might notice, with the commons, there are a row of commons. There's some steel, there's, med kits, there's acid, there's titanium parts, and then most rare of all, in my own opinion, insanely good as a common. However, out of all of the commons I've been opening, and you're watching this up on the screen right now, the times I get are probably few and far between. Now, I know there's probably like 30, 40 different items in this Unknown Box that you could possibly get. But if all common items are weighted equally, you would think that you would get these common items, whatever percentage of the time of the commons. But instead, it ends up being like I'm getting 1 and 5 med kits in a row, or something like that. Vice versa with the other thingies, so the green ones with the high-tech components, or the lead stuff, yeah. I don't get lead that often, but I somehow manage to get high-tech components quite often, or dog treats, or something like that. Blue ones, same thing, and purple ones especially. Purple ones, I tend to get the max-modded M16, or max-modded AK, which is great and all, but I'm looking for the Genesis weapons. I have not gotten a single Genesis gun, yet I've gotten the AK 3 times. I don't know, maybe that's just crazy RNG luck, but yeah, that's my RNG luck for you. Now here's a topic I've been meaning to talk about for a little while, and I was going to do an individual video on it, but this is as good as place as any to talk about it a little bit. Season 15, Season 16, Season 17, they've all sort of started to follow a slight trend I've noticed. Mediocre seasons, well, 16 was not necessarily mediocre. I mean, when you look at it on the surface level, maybe it might be considered, but I think those storages really make it a little bit above the level of mediocrity. But 15, 16, 17, they're all sort of mess seasons, and seasons that being temporary content that disappears after a month and nobody really remembers it. But it's covered up in the fact that it's covered up by good loot. So people really enjoy it. Now, I get it. Good loot is, obviously I'm not going to complain about good loot, right? But I feel like the good loot is intentionally misleading some of these seasons. And I'm seeing people in the comments who are telling me, OMG, ZD, your opinion could not be more wrong about Season 16 because it had good loot. Well, I get it. Good loot is, good loot. But as I said, if every single one of these seasons is going to have good loot, is all of the seasons just... I don't know. How would you rank that then? I fail to see how good loot is an indicator of the level of enjoyability of a season. I mean, if it's just, the season, as in it disappears after a month and nobody remembers it. Yeah, like, okay, let's take Season 4, for example. Season 4 was the Christmas tree one, or Season 10 even. Season 10 was the capturing zombies in nets one that died in the first week of ldoe YouTube. That's the reason why I remember it. So I feel like good loot disguising a good season is, yeah. I mean, it's incredibly nitpicky on my part, but I just felt like I wanted to respond to some of the comments that have been telling me over and over and over again, ZD, your opinion is invalid because it had good loot. I feel like the good loot definitely deserves a little bit of commentary over, and that's what I'm gonna do. Now, obviously, ldoe, do not take this video as a complaint about good loot, okay? I'm not complaining in any way, shape, or form about the good loot. If anything, keep it coming. But what I'm saying is, these comments, yeah, they definitely could use a second look. And, yeah, these crate openings are still going. Okay, well, I guess I still have even more time to talk about, more random topics that happen to be on my mind. So you know what? I saw an interesting point that I did want to discuss a little bit. This honestly was never going to ever be a video. It's just ZD randomly talking to the camera, but you know what? This stuff is fun to do, so why not? JCF mentioned in one of his newest videos that LDOE YouTube is back on the rise, and I wanted to give commentary on that. Now, I did talk with JCF a little bit about LDOE YouTube and stuff like that, but what I really want to do is think about, is LDOE YouTube back on the rise? And if so, will LDOE YouTube ever hit those same levels of 2017 LDOE YouTube? And to that question, I would say no. I'm sorry, that was, again, pretty harsh, but do I think LDOE YouTube will ever be able to hit that peak level again? Honestly, I don't think LDOE YouTube will ever be able to hit that level again. Back then, LDOE YouTube, you might remember, was insane. There was hype for updates every single week. LDOE YouTube now, we have these lull periods. Yes, I will agree that seasons are ultimately good for LDOE YouTube, as in they give it sort of a schedule where there's guaranteed content. But in those lull periods, I would always argue that LDOE YouTube slows to a stop. You might notice LDOE YouTubers do one of three things. 1, they continue making Let's Plays, but they're very few and far between. 2, they sort of struggle by with the occasional commentary video. That's exactly what I do. Or 3, they just flat out disappear, which I don't think is a good thing if you're trying to get LDOE YouTube back up on the rise. Is LDOE YouTube rising again? No doubt. Season 16, as JCF did mention, was absolutely insane for LDOE YouTube. The hype was unreal, and I must say, kudos to LDOE, that was a good job. Do I think 17 is going to do as well as 16? No. And have I been proven by that? Yes. Just look at LDOE YouTube right now. It is not hitting the same levels as Season 16. Now, do I think it could ever reach Fort Moss levels? Fort Moss was insane for LDOE YouTube, and it was quite possibly the highest. The thing about it, a peak though. It was a peak, and Season 4 or 5, it eventually started to level off. So do I think it will ever do that again? Yes. Do I think it will ever do 2017 LDOE YouTube, or it is consistent month after month after month of continually good, hyped stuff, and without these lull periods whatsoever? No, I don't believe that's possible with the current season lineup. Unless maybe they decided to, drop a multiplayer update within 2 weeks or something like that. Anywho, I think that's going to do it for this video for me. It's been an interesting one to talk to the camera, and it's been a while, and I've missed doing this. If you're curious to just, I don't know, if you enjoyed it, yeah. Let me know all that down below, or you just don't even have to. You could just mute my audio and go put on some music in the background. I guess that would work too.